Hello, hello, hello. So I got quite a lot to talk about today. First off, hello everyone, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Daniel, otherwise known as that's the whole name. Figure it out how to spell it. I can't tell you. No, my name is Daniel, otherwise known as YourBuddyDanny. I am a variety streamer and I stream a variety of things. And today we're gonna start by talking about Netflix's Avatar the Last Airbender adaptation. Wow. I'm gonna, before I put on my hating ass hater hat, this is just normal hat. This is understanding that people, a lot of hard work went into this, a lot of love went into this, a lot of people will cherish this for the rest of their lives. A lot of fantastic people worked and got paid for this, and we're excited to do this no matter how it turned out. I tried to go into this show with that mindset, not a hating ass hater. I tried to go into this show with the idea that, adaptations are exactly that. They're adaptations. They don't have to be one-to-one. We've seen very many animation to live action adaptations, and they've pretty much all have been trash. I mean, with the rare exception of Sonic the Hedgehog and the like, even then I'm sure some people will have some issues, but like Sonic, to me, in my opinion, was probably the only animation to live action adaptation that actually worked. I tried to go in with the perspective that, again, people worked on this. This got greenlit. People put love and sweat and tears into this. I'm gonna respect that. I'm gonna respect that as much as I can. To give the show props where I can, right? We're gonna compare this to the abomination that M. Night Shyamalan gave us. The bending in the Netflix series just absolutely embarrasses M. Night Shyamalan's, right? From The Last Airbender. It is not even a competition. Like, The Last Airbender showed up because his friend had an extra ticket and he didn't really know the band. And then the Netflix series, like, knew right as they stepped foot into the door, it's like, we got to get this right. It's not perfect by any means. Still, hating ass hater cap still off. I'm still giving props. It's not perfect by any means, but it is cool. Like the person, not all of it as of yet. And I've also got to caveat this with, I've only seen the first 2.5 episodes. It got so rough for me that I had to stop. I was literally standing up and walking around the room pacing. I got as far as Omashu. It's not perfect by any means, but it is much, much, much better. And some of the ways that it's shot is very cool. Another thing that I want to give props to is the wardrobe. The wardrobe in this show is stellar. Yeah, some things are going to look a little off. It's going to look like cosplay because we love these characters so much, and we've had a decade at this point, basically, to know what these characters look like, how they dress, and we had a bad adaptation on top of that. The wardrobe in this is fantastic, especially the Kyoshi Warriors. The Kyoshi Warriors look dope as hell. Like, it's not even a question. They got like the most out of the wardrobe department. The makeup on point, the outfit in general, their armor and everything, just stellar. I'm still a little iffy on Aang's robes. They're very bright as compared to everything else, but like I don't know what else. So the show itself, the original show Avatar the Last Airbender, it had a lot of very bright colors, a lot of orangey, earthy tones that kind of went with Aang's robes. It was very bright. It was a very bright show. The Netflix show, however, has this interesting, still hater ass cap not on, still just general impressions. The show itself from Netflix has like an eerie darkness visually and just like vibe wise too, but visually, that it makes Aang's robes stand out way too much. It is very bright. It is very bright in a bad way because the surrounding area around Aang isn't as bright as it should be. It's just that's a nitpick. That's 100% a nitpick for me. We'll get to the show being a little down and dreary in general, but still trying to give props. The CG animation for like Appa and Momo is great. It's CG animation. It's a Netflix budget. It's not super huge, but like the fur on Appa is incredible. It's like the first time we saw Sully from Monsters Inc. And like the fur animation was like mind-blowing and still is to this day. The fur animation is great, and when you get the really close shots of like Aang sitting on Appa, you can kind of see the grain of the horns, and it's great. Like that attention to detail is awesome. The bending visually looks good. Like the animation that went into the bending actually looks really good. I enjoy it a lot. I really do. The way that they showcase Aang's airbending, it just kind of makes things around. It's kind of like a heat wave effect, sorta. It kind of makes the things around him look a little like wavy and blurry, but you can tell that it's like kicking up dust and stuff. Not in the same vein as M. Night Shyamalan's movie, but like something similar. It's not like a blue stripe across the screen like in the show, but like it's you can tell something's happening there. And finally, the scenery. Oh, if they did one single thing correct in this show that I cannot find fault in, it's how they did the landscapes, the scenery. Everything is so beautiful. Oh my god. I don't even know how much of this was shot on location. Probably none of it. I mean, Kyoshi Island, I can see that, the Kyoshi village actually being on set, because I'm pretty sure there were some huts that were handmade. If not, that is impeccable CGI work, and kudos to them. But the vast landscapes of the places that don't actually exist, right? The air temples, the top shot of Kyoshi Island, Omashu, like it looks so good. It looks so good. I can't get over it. Like these are like 8K wallpaper, like kind of things that we're looking at, and it's awesome. Aang's arrow works very fine. I love his tattoos and how they're actually correct on his body as opposed to the Shyamalan movie. But they do have, I feel like they accomplished something that Shyamalan tried to, but like actually did it. His arrows have a patterning inside them, and it's not distracting. It's not terrible. It's just not a flat blue arrow, and that's totally cool. It has some like design in it, and it gives it some personality, and I like it. Honestly, like it's good. It's good. I don't hate it, and it's not. I mean, it's like very screen accurate. It just has a little touch of flair in there. Certain actors are giving it their all, and they're coming through really well. Some of the casting choices, like Azula, I have yet to see the extent of, because again, there are 8 episodes in the season, and I've only seen 2.5. I'm not even done with the 3rd episode. It was just a lot. some of the casting choices like Azula strike me as odd because I'm not feel like in the original show, Azula immediately was this like she is the mean girl, right? You can see it in her face. She is the prissy princess mean girl that you can tell can break you down with a stare. The person that they cast for this, I'm not really getting that from. I don't. She has some. She's a great actor. Like you can tell, like, she's putting her all into her lines and her performance, and it's great. And she has good facial expressions. It's just not pulling it so far. Just not pulling it. It's not pulling. It's not giving Azula. You know, that's a certain vibe. It's death. Death is the vibe. Not getting that so far. I think we're encroaching on hated ass hater territory. So I'm gonna take this hat off, the supportive hat. I'm gonna get the 10-gallon hater ass hated hat. Make sure it looks good. Okay, so we're in hater ass hater territory. Listen, guys, what the hell? What the hell? Like, we have the template, right? It is legitimately fill in the blank, and you have all of the answers, but you're treating it like it's ad libs. I really don't understand. Like we have something really special with Avatar the Last Airbender. I don't think I've ever met anybody that has disliked Avatar the Last Airbender. Sure, it's not a perfect show. Arguably not a perfect show, but it is damn near close. And it's one of the only things that I've ever seen that was that damn near close. Steven Universe, another one, but that's a different topic. Avatar the Last Airbender was phenomenal. I don't understand why we keep doing these things. Like, again, like I said, in the non-hating ass hater territory, I get adaptations are adaptations. They're gonna change the things. Like, sometimes we just don't want to see a one-to-one kind of situation, right? Other times we would love to see it. I get the things that we cannot do. I really do. My biggest beef with this show is that we're taking incredibly important moments away from these characters. I don't understand why. I'm not even gonna give you the idea of we don't have enough time. No. We're not gonna do that. That's a bad excuse. That is a terrible excuse, especially with this property. I don't know if it's Nickelodeon's fault. I don't know what the idea was with the showrunners, because the showrunners in the beginning had the actual creators of Avatar the Last Airbender on board. This was going to be incredible. But then some stuff happened so that the actual creators jumped ship. Pretty sure it's because of creative differences. I know, I remember reading like different, I should have found these articles, but I remember reading different articles and like tweets and stuff of like why they left the show and all the different directions that they wanted to take the show. And that's why the creators were like, best of luck to you. We're gonna go make Avatar Studios and do the damn thing, but not give you a live action adaptation. We're just gonna go do what we do best. God bless them. The people at Netflix. What? Like I was saying, we are taking pivotal moments for these characters. And again, I've only seen the first 2.5 episodes out of 8, right? Right now, I'm not feeling strongly that this is gonna get a book 2. Hell if they get a book 3. Like, I don't feel like they're gonna finish this series. That's how strongly I feel about this. Like, it's good. It might warrant a season 2, But once you get to season 2 and you completely butcher Toph and you completely butcher Zuko's character progression, think it might cause some issues. Think it might cost you a book 3. I don't think we're gonna see Aang fight Ozai. I really, truly don't. We're never gonna see a lion turtle. That's how I'm feeling right now. And I am one of those people that loves to be delightfully proven wrong. I want to see this go further than I totally expected. Maybe they rebound in book 2, kind of backpedal a little bit, change the story that they're putting out right there, because right now it's not the Avatar the Last Airbender we love. My brother texted me and said, my brother, mind you, has only seen the season finale or the series finale that I know of when we were younger. He texted me and asked me what I thought about it. I was like, I haven't seen it yet. And he's like, it's pretty cool. It's better than the movie. I have to watch the show though. I was like, great. When I was watching the show last night, I really had to put myself in an objective place and try to give it its flowers where I could. But the only thing that kept going through my mind was me wishing that I was able to see this through my brother's eyes. Just fresh. You don't really know the series too much. You're not terribly invested in what's happening. You can just enjoy the show. That's the hard thing with fandom. Like it's hard to do things like adaptations of things that people really love, because we just can't go back and see for the first time. But what we can see is what you're taking out from the thing that we loved about it. And these are the things that they're taking out that we loved about it. They're taking out Aang's goofy, fun, childlike spirit. They're taking out his connection to Katara, which is literally leads to the final shot of the episode, of the series. Them finally showing their love to each other. And then in Legend of Korra, they have children and slowly bring back the Air Nation and Airbenders. Aang's spirit, connection to Katara. Now this is gonna sound a little weird, but they took away Sokka's misogyny. I get it. On the surface, sounds like a good move. But, and I was talking to my friend last night about it, Sokka's misogyny wasn't ever damaging to anyone except to him. Right? Sokka has a path in this show. And most of it is course corrected very early. Sokka, and again, I'm not siding with misogyny on this one. I'm really not. You should be cool to everyone, regardless of their sex or gender. But Sokka's journey starts with him being a misogynistic teenager. Like, he is left in the village as the only quote unquote man to protect the village, right? That's what he grew up knowing. That's like, he grew up around a lot of women who didn't do the warrior stuff. Any woman warrior were taken away by the Fire Nation. And as he grew up, he had to take on like the role of a man at a very young age, of a father figure. And then all the men went to war and he had no one else to teach him anything beyond that. Like, and so he's a kid like all of them. And he goes into the world being dumb, talking crap about how women can't be warriors. And then by, I want to say episode 3, if I remember correctly, when they get to Kyoshi Island, literally and physically gets flipped on his ass when he meets Suki and the Kyoshi warriors. And then immediately at the start of the series, he starts course correcting. He sees and starts respecting the Kyoshi warriors, who are all women, and even is humbled enough to ask Suki to train him. Full makeup and everything. Fights like a Kyoshi warrior, learns like a Kyoshi warrior. And then he puts that shit aside. And then he starts going on a path of actually becoming a decent person. That is Sokka's path. Like, not just him being the only non-bender in the group, but him being a vulnerable, like, teenager that is learning how to be better through the encounters that he makes along the way. Right now in the show, Suki has, and this isn't to say that it's any woman's job to teach any man anything, but like he doesn't get humbled by Suki. He doesn't. They don't teach each other anything. All we see is an MTV episode of Avatar the Last Airbender starring Teen Wolf. That's all it becomes. It is them looking lovingly in each other's eyes, and then for a second looking hungrily in each other's eyes. And I'm like, this isn't it, man. This really isn't. And kudos to those actors. I feel like they cast Sokka and Suki just like beautifully. But there's nothing about this. Like, Suki really doesn't have to prove anything to Sokka. And I feel like there is a scene where Sokka's like trying to flirt with Suki, and she like checks him because he calls her a warrior, and she's like, I'm not just a warrior, I'm a Kyoshi warrior. And it's like, why are we getting defensive about that? Like, we know you're awesome. Nobody's fighting you. I feel like, if anything, like, if you've seen the original series, like, Suki is the most badass warrior in the entire series, and we all love her. And I think coming from a place like that, where we're fans of it, going into this, it comes off a little weird, because obviously we know, but like, trying to see it as someone who hasn't seen the show before, like, I don't know, it didn't come off as like Kyoshi warriors are special. It came off as like, don't try to call me just a warrior, I'm a Kyoshi warrior. And it's like, she doesn't have to be defensive about that. It's something that can be shown through her actions of her outclassing everyone effortlessly. Not even her, just anyone in the Kyoshi warriors. I hope they round back on Suki and Sokka's relationship, because that needs some fixing. And I hope they make it less teen romance and more just like, I don't know, respectful. She humbles the hell out of Sokka. Not in like intentional, like that's not what she's there for. They are both warriors, but Sokka comes at her sideways and she whoops his ass. She puts him in line, because that's just what happens when you step out of line with someone. Then he humbly asks her to teach him, and he's willing to dress as a Kyoshi warrior to be taught. And then when the village gets attacked, as a whole thing, he helps defend as a pseudo Kyoshi warrior, and he gets to see how awesome they are. And that's just Sokka, man. Like, we're still getting some of his, like, he's sarcastic, he's kind of jokey, but there's an important part of his character growth that is just going to be missing, and I'm wondering how it's going to go now, because his misogyny, it reaches beyond just like Suki and Yue and stuff. Like, it affects his relationship with Katara too, and like, him and Katara jab at each other, but like, he explains to Toph in the last season why Katara takes on such quote-unquote motherly roles, and how much respect and love he has for her. And I feel like we're gonna miss that aspect of their relationship. Zuko, angsty, fiery crybaby, like always. So that's good. I feel like we're not showcasing him to his fullest. I feel like they're holding back on Zuko so far. First third of the series, I feel like they're holding back on Zuko heavily. But to get back to important things that they're taking away from these characters, Aang. Oh my god. Who is this person wearing Aang's clothes? Like, the kid, the guy that they cast, he's good. He is. He seems a little green, which is okay. Like, that's totally fine. This is also a very big role to take on. So, he's giving it his all. That's great. I love how youthful he sounds. But I feel like what they're writing and the direction that they're giving him is inhibiting him. Because Aang so far isn't at all the plucky kid that's, one, trying to distract himself and others from the fact that he's the Avatar and why he ran away, how he ended up in the iceberg, and why he wasn't killed with the other airbenders. And then actually coming to grips with, and like telling Sokka and Katara, I'm the Avatar. I should learn all the elements to stop the war, but I never wanted to be the Avatar. It's hard because during the show we see during their travels how Aang tries to divert their journey to hit all these fun spots that he traveled to as a kid when he was traveling with the monks, and Kyoshi Island being one of them. Why? Well, in the show they tell you it's because, spoilers, in the show they tell you it's because Aang took Zuko's notebook and he's trying to learn more about the past avatars, so he goes to Kyoshi Island. In the original show, it's because he wants to ride big ass koi fish and have fun and a little bit lightweight show off to Katara. And that's like not even a thought in this show. Like, I get it, budget reasons and stuff, but at least mention it a little bit. Like, they don't even throw out the Unagi as a name. They don't do anything in that vein. He has to like, and also for some reason every conversation about him being the Avatar happens in a forum. Like, they gather the entire village. Like in the Southern Water Tribe, everyone in the village was in a hut talking about he's the Avatar. In Kyoshi Island, everyone gathers in a hut to talk about he's the Avatar. And he has to like name it, and they're like, why should we believe you? And then again, spoilers, the statue of Avatar Kyoshi's eyes glow and like point down on him like a guard tower in a prison break. It's like, guys, why are we doing this? And then everyone's against him from the jump. When in the original show, everyone loves him because they love Avatar Kyoshi. Don't get me started on Avatar Kyoshi. It's like, I don't want to spoil too much here. I really don't, because I think you should, as in anything, because I do it myself, I think you should watch the show on your own to create your own opinion. But like, man, the first thing that happens when they get Aang out of the iceberg in the cartoon is that he sees Katara. That is the first face that he sees when he becomes conscious. And immediately off the jump, he's just trying to have fun. And then he turns himself into the Fire Nation because he wants to protect the people while still hiding the fact that he's the Avatar. Again, because he doesn't want to be the Avatar. Nobody needs to know that he's the Avatar. He also doesn't know that the Airbenders are extinct. Netflix doesn't give us that. So you can already kind of tell that they're going to be straying away from Aang and Katara's relationship, which is heavily ingrained into the lore of that show. I don't want them to do, Zutara? I don't want Katara and Zuko to fall in love. I was never team Zutara. It seems like that's what they're going to be going to do. There's just so very much that, and again, I'm trying not to completely tear into these characters or their actors or anything. Their actors are good. Their actors are fine. I feel like the writing and the direction is just taking them south. And one of those characters is also Katara. Katara, she's not as, I don't know, she's not coming off so far as what's the word? Like, she's a smartass with Sokka because that's her brother, you know. She has a bit of an attitude, which is great. She's fine. She has character. Her character has character. And in this, I feel like they've extremely diluted her character. I am very scared to get to the end of this season because I'm pretty sure this season is book 1. All of this season is book 1. I'm very scared to get to the end of this season to where she's training with Master Paku and Master Paku doesn't want to train her because of old tradition that is trying to be broken by a new generation, but people like Master Paku, who are old as hell, are still trying to hold to that tradition. And also the Northern Water Tribe does things differently than the Southern Water Tribe. At that point, Katara displays a show of mastery of waterbending. She makes change in her sister tribe. And that's because she has guts. She has the will to stand up to people that are trying to put her down. She has the strength to fight against the master of masters of waterbending in the Northern Water Tribe, which I like from the outside looking in is much bigger and much more like illustrious than the Southern Water Tribe. That's intimidating on its own, but then she has to battle the misogynistic history of the Water Tribe, and she does it. And she is a strong character, not just a strong like female character. She's a strong character by the end of book 1, and I feel like we're slowly chipping away at that. And that's not fair to Katara. Katara kicks so much ass. It's not even a question. The women in the show kick so much ass, but I feel like it's not being showcased properly. That's why if we get a book 2 Earth and we get to Toph, we need to make some serious changes from what we have right now. I can't begin to explain without you watching the show, both shows really, how much they're taking away from these interactions. I'm guessing for the sake of time, if that's the excuse. Everything that they're choosing to pick away are very important character points that they deserve to explore. But it seems like they're dead set on telling a different story, which again, adaptations are adaptations. They're gonna be different, but I have the 10-gallon hater ass hater hat on right now. So I'm just gonna say reevaluate, because what you're giving us right now is not Avatar the Last Airbender. It's Avatar Light, where M. Night Shyamalan was like, Shasta, this is Diet Coke. I don't know, man. I feel like these characters deserve more. I feel like these actors deserve more because they're gonna catch flack for it. And that's not the purpose of things like this, right? That's not the purpose of videos like this. It's not to go after the actors. It's to go after the direction that they're taking this beautiful, fantastic story that so many of us grew up with, and so many of us are still growing up with and loving, and learning from past mistakes like M. Night Shyamalan, and making something absolutely incredible for live action. What this is doing for me is putting it on the higher end of the idea that live action adaptations of animation just don't work. Like, I still see Sonic the Hedgehog above this. 3 episodes in, I can't love this like Avatar the Last Airbender, the cartoon. I really can't. And maybe it's past my time, but also I feel like it's doing a severe disservice to those who haven't watched the show and will go back and watch the show and be like, what happened? Like, I really wonder if they were able to put half of book 1 into the 8 episode order that they had, right? Take their time to explore everything. Don't condense anything. Just stretch that as a proof of concept, and then they'll get another season order for the back half of book 1. Then by book 2, they possibly have a bigger budget and a bigger love from the audience so that they can get an extended season for book 2 and do everything right that way, but in a single season. So you can still cut down, just a bigger season order. I don't work in Hollywood. I don't know the metrics of this or anything. I'm just Sunday couch coaching. But I don't know, man. Like, this could have been so good. This could have been such a phenomenal series. And so far, it's not gonna be that. But in the first 5 minutes of the episode, it's better than the movie. I can say that much. Oh, and another one note that I feel like I have to get out there. You've probably seen this on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But some people are like 5 minutes into The Last Airbender Netflix show and they got Aang flying. I don't agree. I don't see it so much as flying as it is falling with style. I think Woody was right there. Aang falling with style. To me, it looked like he was gliding more than anything, which is, you know, he has his glider. That's what the glider's there for. But when you see people skydiving and they're moving across the sky, they're not flying, they're gliding. Someone in a squirrel suit doing the same thing, right? You're just moving in the sky, and he just happens to have airbending to soften his landings and kind of change his direction a little bit. But he's not Supermaning up into the air, doing loop-de-loops, coming back around, and then dive bombing and going back up, you know, like he's just slowly descending on an air current. That's just me. Semantics, whatever. I don't consider it flying. There are so many little things that I can pick. There's so many little things because they condensed everything and it's dumb to me. But again, I'm not making the show. I'm just a fan who deeply loves Avatar the Last Airbender. But I'm not trying to be toxic about it. I'm trying to keep a positive eye on it. Hopefully it does more. I can imagine what the original cast of the Last Airbender, the movie, I can only imagine what flack they got catching strays that were going at M. Night Shyamalan initially. I don't want that to happen to anybody, but I don't want that to happen to this cast either, because, you know, they have indigenous people playing the Water Tribe. They have a young kid who fits the role and fits the look for Aang. They have amazing actors, amazing wardrobe, amazing visual effects teams. But I feel like they're gonna catch strays from what this show isn't presenting itself as. As a fan of Avatar: Last Airbender, I can only hope that my fellow fans don't be awful. Try to be understanding, because believe me, I'm peeved, but I'm not gonna bully anyone off social media. You know, this video isn't to rail on any of the cast or anything, to like tell them to do terrible things because I'm a terrible person and I'm just mad. No, it's to express my opinion for one, but it's also like things can't change unless you speak up, right? I'm not saying anyone's gonna see this video that can affect anything, but like people putting their opinion out there with the willingness to take things as they are, that's important, right? I'm not forcing my opinion on anyone. I'm just hoping that, you know, somebody out in the ether keeps track of these opinions for the shows that they're creating and is like, you know what, I think we can take another look at the drawing board. You know, who knows? I don't know, man. If you want to know what I really think about Avatar the Last Airbender, I have a whole My Cartoon D.N.A. episode about it on the Faulty Rockets channel. It is about 9-ish minutes, maybe 8. It's just what I feel Avatar presented, what the show's about a little bit, and how it affected me in my own life. I definitely suggest you check it out. We just passed Avatar Day on the 21st. Happy 19th birthday to Team Avatar. And I hope the rest of the season goes much better than what it is now for me, because I don't know what to do if it doesn't. I might just have to stop watching it. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And find me on Faulty Rockets, the aforementioned channel where my show My Cartoon D.N.A. lives, and that's where you can find the Avatar Last Airbender episode and this vlog. And also find me streaming on Twitch, YourBuddyDanny, and the YourBuddyDanny YouTube channel that has all of my Twitch VODs. That'd be cool. That'd be cool if you, I don't know. Tell me what you think about the Last Airbender show, because I want to see how off the beaten path I am. I want to know if anybody else agrees with me, but yeah, I'll see you later.